E&M is evaluation and management. Okay, this is the first section in your book. These are those 99 codes, you know what I mean? Evaluation and management codes are exact, if you think about the words, they are exactly what they sound like. They are the clinician evaluating you and examining you. When I go to the doctor and I have a sore, every time you go to the doctor, you get one of these. Every time, unless under very rare circumstances, okay? Every time you see a provider, whether it be a nurse practitioner, a physician, okay, you're going to get assigned one of these codes. This is that clinician looking at you, taking your history, doing a physical exam, and making a medical decision about you. Okay? It is based on your chief complaint. Can anybody tell me what I mean by a chief complaint?
The reason you're there.
The reason I'm there, and this is my reason that I'm there. It's not my final diagnosis. This is the patient's words. A lot of chief complaints are my husband made me come, or my wife made me come. No, but seriously, I have seen that actually. You gotta write down what the patient says. It's their subjective information. You write it down.
Yeah.
Sometimes they, I can't pee. I don't know. It's like, really? Okay. But it's all based on the chief complaint, okay? So I come in and I have a sore throat, right? Okay, that's my chief complaint. Most, but not all, E&M codes are based on the level of service. So what I mean by that is the extent of history, the extent of exam, and the complexity of medical decision making. Okay. So I have a sore throat, right? We've all probably had a sore throat. Hopefully everyone stayed healthy this winter. No, it was a bad winter. There was a lot of crud. Okay, I have a sore throat, I go to the doctor. Now, some of this might be taken by ancillary staff, like a medical assistant, okay? Some of this information. But most of it, most components must be documented by the physician, okay? So I go in, medical assistant sits me down, right? She says, why are you here? And I say, I have a sore throat. What kinds of questions is she gonna ask me?
What does it feel like?
Uh-huh.
Have you tried anything
Uh-huh.
for it?
Right.
Any other symptoms?
Uh-huh. Right. Okay. So she's going to ask that, but then the physician is also going to ask that too, right? Because the physician, it's called the history of present illness. The physician has to ask that. That cannot be documented by ancillary staff. It might be documented, but not in the doctor's note. Okay? So the doctor's going to say, okay, when did it start? He's going to say, is it a sharp pain? Is it scratchy? Have you taken anything for it? Okay? That's kind of my history of the present illness. So that's pretty low, right? Okay? If I come in and I say, I've been having chest pains off and on, do you think he's going to ask a few more questions?
No.
Okay, we're going to throw in things like, does it hurt? Wait, I might just say, well, you know, I'm having chest pains, but it only hurts when I get up in the morning. Okay? Hurts when I do this, right? But I've been taking Tylenol and it makes it feel better. Okay? So then probably with chest pain, they're going to start asking questions like, have you had chest pain before? There's my past history, right? Do you have a family history of heart problems? Family history. Do you smoke? Social history. So social history is going to be lifestyle stuff. Do you smoke? Do you drink? Is your wife nice? You know, do you get enough sleep? Is your job sucky or what? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So based on that chief complaint, they're going to ask more questions, right? They're not going to say, if I have a sore throat, they're going to say, do you have a family history of sore throats? Yes. Okay. So the things that go into history are going to be the history of present illness, the chief complaint, And then past, family, and social history. That's what that is. Oh, and one other thing I didn't talk about, plus review of systems. Let me explain that really quick. So that's chief complaint, history of present illness, past family social history, and this is the review of systems. When I say review of systems, this is an oral or written review of systems, okay? You might go to the doctor, they might have you fill something like this out before you even go back. And it's like, it goes through like body says, are you tired? You know, that, have you had fever? You know, have you had a fever, are you tired? Are your feet swelling? Okay, are you short of breath? Do you feel sick to your stomach? These are questions about your body, okay? Once again, based on the chief complaint. Okay, if I have a splinter, they're not gonna ask me if I've been short of breath. They shouldn't. What kind of splinter do you think I have? Okay. Right, so you see what I mean, but this is kind of an interview almost, all right? Now, the reason this takes place is because the physician is a physician and knows what things might be related and what aren't. So if I say, you know, well, I've been short of breath and gosh, my feet have been swelling a bunch, she's gonna be like, ruh-roh. Okay. Well, you better take a look at that ticker of yours. It's telling you. Okay. All right, so this is not a physical review, is my point. Okay. Here we're in the physical exam. This is also separated by organ systems and body areas. Organ systems and body areas. So, once again, if I have a splinter, you know what they're going to do? They're going to take my vitals and look at my finger. They should. If you start to do all kinds of jazz, I'm going to be like, Mama Coder, you're doing too much stuff.
Okay.
And they'll be like, get out of here. Right. Never come back. I want to be patient. You're annoying. All right, so once again, it's based on the chief complaint. The extent of physical exam that they have to do. If I'm coming in with like vague chest pains, they're going to do a pretty comprehensive exam, right? Okay, but I come in for something minor, they're not. Even if I go in for a cold, it's going to be medium, right? Because they're going to look up your nose, they're going to look in your eyes. There's two right there. They're going to take your vitals, right? Eyes are separate, ears, nose, that kind of stuff is one. You know, they're going to listen to your heart. They're going to take your respirations. I mean, we've got like 5 things going on already. You know what I mean? They might look at the color of your skin to see if it's not appropriate for your ethnicity. That's typically how it's worded, it's appropriate for that, you know. Because if I'm gray, nobody's really supposed to be gray, I suppose. That's probably not a very good example, but you get the idea of what I'm saying. Okay, so based on the chief complaint, I may have to take a little or a lot of history, right? I may have to do just a little physical exam or a more comprehensive one, okay? Complexity of medical decision making, okay, this is the nuts and bolts of it. This is how hard was it for me to diagnose you, or was I even able to diagnose you, okay? So that's going to come down to that is going to come down to the amount and complexity of data, meaning how much stuff did I have to review? Did I have to go get old records? Did I have to call your old doctor? That kind of stuff. Or did I have to do labs, EKGs, x-rays? So the more stuff I had to do, you bill separately for the stuff, but this still plays in here. Okay, this is me thinking about this stuff. The number of diagnoses possible, and the complexity of that. So if you think about it, so I have high blood pressure, I come back in for my high blood pressure check, right? He already knows I have high blood pressure. I don't really have to think, what is this happening with this woman? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, how's your blood pressure? Like, this has been okay. All right, here's a new prescription. Okay. And we're going to do $200 worth of lab work just because.
Fantastic.
Right.
All right, but if I've got a new problem, they don't, you know what I mean? Or if I've got a worsening problem, that's a whole different thought process, right? And then the last piece really is risk here. So when I say risk, what I mean is risk to the patient between this encounter and the next encounter. That's gonna include stuff like the nature of the presenting problem, okay? Is it an uncertain diagnosis with an uncertain prognosis? Well, that's riskier than a minor problem. Did I have an abrupt change in neurological status? I hope not. That's a bad thing. That's high risk, right? Okay. It also includes, like, what did we have to do? Did we have to do an invasive procedure to diagnose you? Did we have to do arterial blood gases? That kind of stuff. And then also, how do we manage that? Do you need prescription drugs or over-the-counter drugs? It just, the risk goes up, over-the-counter, prescription, opioids. You know what I mean? So it's just like, the risk gets higher. I know I'm going the wrong way. The table goes this way. The piece of paper goes this way. I swear to God, the piece of paper goes down. That's what I do. I was reading it in my head. That was weird. I was like, it goes up. Oh, that's too funny. Okay. So, not to get, like I said, once again, too deep into the weeds, and I don't think you need to get super deep into the weeds for our intents and purposes right now. But we've got 5 levels, typically, okay? Level 1, pretty low and all this stuff. Level 5, you're not in very good shape.